It described the clothes I was wearing and the way I'd die. Word for word. Right down to the torn sleeve on my hoodie, the chipped corner of my phone case, even the half-empty cup of coffee sitting next to me. The post wasn't written after it happened, it was written before, time-stamped 3 hours ago, by a user I'd never seen before. And the worst part, it mentioned my name, my real one, not my Reddit handle. At first I thought it was a prank, some kind of weird ARG or doxing stunt. You see enough creepy stuff online, you learn to scroll past it, but there was something different about this one. The tone wasn't dramatic, it wasn't clickbait, it was clinical, like someone narrating an autopsy that hadn't happened yet. I kept rereading the opening lines, hoping I'd misinterpreted something. At approximately 2:17 a.m., Daniel Mercer will collapse in his apartment facing east, one hand clutching his phone. Cause of death, undetermined trauma. I wasn't dead. I was right there reading it. My heart was pounding, sure, but I was alive, still breathing, still me. But the words just sat there plain as day under that username, u/DeadOnArrival bot. No profile picture, no karma, no post history, just that one post about me. I scrolled down. There were comments, at least they looked like comments, but they didn't make sense. Strings of binary, fragments of sentences, a few words in English. It's been written. He sees the line, don't refresh. I refreshed anyway. The post didn't reload, it updated. The text shifted slightly like someone was typing in real time. Now it said, Daniel Mercer is reading this right now. I felt my stomach twist. I slammed my laptop shut, but it didn't help. I could still feel it, like the words were burned into my retinas. I checked the time. 1:48 a.m. I laughed quietly, trying to convince myself it was a coincidence. Some kind of sick troll or deepfake generator that scraped personal data. Maybe a bot that tied into public records, or some elaborate ARG trying to scare people for engagement. I told myself that over and over. But I couldn't explain how it knew the small things. The mug stain on my desk, the flickering light bulb above me, the fact that I was barefoot. I opened Reddit again, just to prove to myself it was gone, but the page had changed completely. The post wasn't on r/true off my chest like I remembered, it was on a subreddit I'd never seen before. r/DeadOnArrival. And this time there were more posts, hundreds of them, all written in the same sterile, detached tone, each one named a different person, some names I recognized, classmates, coworkers. One was even a girl from my high school I hadn't spoken to in years. All the timestamps were within hours of the present moment. That's when I realized something else. The post about me had just moved to the top of the feed. Pinned. I felt the air leave my lungs. I clicked again, praying it was gone. But instead, a new line had appeared at the bottom of the post. Just one. Confirmed in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I didn't think. I bolted up, knocking my chair over. My apartment suddenly felt smaller, tighter. Every shadow looked alive. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, but the call wouldn't go through. No service. The signal bars flickered, then vanished. The laptop screen glowed from across the room, casting a pale light over everything. The text was still changing, slowly, methodically, one word at a time. He's standing now. He's holding the phone. He's looking at the door. I dropped it. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely breathe. There was a sound in the hallway, soft, deliberate footsteps. Someone was out there. I ran to the peephole. The corridor was empty. The sound stopped. Then my laptop chimed. Another update. He's at the door. I didn't open it. I didn't move. I just stared at that glowing line of text, every instinct in me screaming to shut it all down, to run, to do something. The clock on my wall ticked louder than I'd ever noticed before. 2:16 a.m. 1 minute. The post changed again. He's realizing what's behind him. My breath caught. I didn't turn. I couldn't. The room felt colder, denser. My reflection in the laptop screen was trembling, but there was another shape behind it, taller, still. The text blinked one last time. 2:17 a.m. confirmed. And then nothing. No sound, no update, just the cursor blinking, waiting for something to happen. I didn't die that night, not physically at least, but something changed. Something in me broke open, like the story had already been written and I was just catching up to the ending. I should have never clicked that link. Let me back up a bit. 3 nights before that post appeared, the one that mentioned my name, I was doing what I always do when I can't sleep, doom scrolling Reddit at 2 a.m. There's something about those empty hours that makes the internet feel different. The usual noise quiets down, threads stop updating. You start seeing the weird stuff, dead subreddits, forgotten AMAs, posts that shouldn't exist but somehow do. It's like walking through a digital graveyard where the ghosts are cached instead of buried. That night I was bouncing between our unresolved mysteries and our internet lore, killing time before work. I don't remember exactly what rabbit hole led me there. Something about predictive AI models, I think. But one comment stood out. If you want real predictions, check our DeadOnArrival. The username that posted it had been deleted. Naturally, I clicked it. The subreddit's page loaded slower than usual, like it was pulling from an old server. Its layout was the default Reddit theme, gray, barren, untouched. The sidebar text was minimal. Everything that has been written will arrive. That was it. No description, no rules, no moderators. Just that single, ominous sentence. At the top of the screen, it said there were 37 members. The most recent post was from 3 years ago. I should have left. Any sane person would have. But curiosity is a disease and Reddit is full of enablers. The first post on the list was titled, Prediction 2/1922, LK dies in sleep, unreported. I clicked it. The post had no body text, just the title, the date, and that chilling word, unreported. The username was u/DeadOnArrival bot, the same one I'd see later. But at the time, I didn't think twice. Probably a roleplay account, or one of those cryptic puzzle ARGs that nerds love to decode. Still, something about the timestamp caught my eye. The post was dated a week before that day in 2022. I switched tabs and searched the name LK, alongside death, news, celebrity, accident. And there it was. A news article published that very day, reporting that a musician named Lennon Carter, age 29, had been found dead at home. The cause of death hadn't been disclosed yet. I felt my chest tighten. I checked the time difference. No mistake. The Reddit post predicted his death 7 days before it happened. I scrolled down to the comments. Most were deleted, but one remained. Timestamp verified. The others will follow. Weird, creepy, but weird. I told myself it was a coincidence. The internet is full of weird coincidences. There are hundreds of predictive death accounts on Twitter and TikTok that get lucky once and go viral. But something about the precision unsettled me. I checked the other posts. They all followed the same format. Prediction date, initials dies method. No explanations, no discussions, just predictions, some recent, some old. Then I noticed something stranger. Every post before 2022 had a deleted username, but the ones after that year were all made by the same account, u/DeadOnArrival bot. One user, posting hundreds of predictions, all structured identically, sometimes minutes apart. My cynicism kicked in. I'm not the superstitious type. I don't believe in destiny, curses, or ghosts that use Wi-Fi. So I started to rationalize. Maybe it's a bot that scrapes obituaries or scheduled news releases. Maybe it's a morbid joke by some data mining hobbyist. But that didn't explain the timestamps. Reddit's API doesn't allow backdating, at least not without admin privileges or external injection. And the formatting was too consistent, too intentional. I opened the About tab again. The subreddit creation date said 2009. No mods, no owner, no deletion log. Yet the server was active. That's when I scrolled to the bottom and saw something that froze me. A blank post, no title, no text, just a timestamp. Last updated 2:17 a.m. pending. The time hadn't come yet. It was 2 days ahead. And directly under it, a single comment in gray italics. It begins with curiosity. I should have left the page, but instead I laughed, out loud, the kind of laugh you make when you're trying to convince yourself you're not scared. I even joked about it in my group chat. Found a creepy death-predicting subreddit. If I die, tell my mom I went viral. My friends replied with memes and laughing emojis. That's the kind of person I was, sarcastic, detached, always assuming everything online was a hoax or a marketing stunt. I'd seen it all. The Blue Whale Challenge, Cicada 3301, cursed image hunts. None of them ever turned out real. But this one felt different. I went back to DeadOnArrival a few more times over the next couple of nights. Each time, a new prediction had appeared, and every time, the initials matched someone who'd made headlines within the following days. Car crash, overdose, unsolved disappearance. I started checking it compulsively, refreshing the feed like some kind of digital doomsayer. Then around 1 a.m. on a Thursday, I saw something new. A fresh post at the top of the subreddit. No initials, no date. Just prediction 2/21/25 DM pending. For a second I didn't even register it. There are thousands of DMS in the world, but the timestamp was only 3 days away, and the username, it wasn't the bot this time. It was mine. You throw a DM02. The account I was logged into right then. I stared at the screen, confused. I hadn't typed anything. I hadn't posted, but Reddit insisted it came from me. When I clicked the edit history, the author metadata was blank, not deleted, blank, like it had been written from inside my session. I remember whispering to myself, "What the hell is this?" And then I saw the footer line appear, almost like a signature. It had only 37 members, no mods, and no new posts for 3 years until that night. My cursor blinked under the phrase, "Waiting." That's when I made the dumbest decision of my life. I decided to test it, to see if it was all just an elaborate prank, a server bug, or maybe a story that wanted an ending. So I clicked Create Post, and I typed my own prediction. I remember the exact words I typed, half laughing as I did it. Prediction 2/24/25. Daniel Mercer dies from caffeine overdose and bad decisions. I hit post and leaned back, grinning at my own stupidity. It was the kind of dark joke I'd made 100 times before on Reddit. I even added a laughing emoji in the comments. Guess I'll die lol. There was no upvote, no response, just silence. The thread sat there like a tombstone to my own bad humor. I clicked away, scrolled through other subs, killed some time on YouTube. An hour later, I went back to check, expecting maybe one sarcastic reply or someone telling me to touch grass. Instead, there were 5 comments. They weren't funny. The first one read, "You can't joke about the schedule." The second, "It's been written." Another said, "You should delete it before it confirms." The usernames didn't link anywhere. Every profile said user deleted. Even the timestamps didn't line up. They were all marked posted in the future, a few minutes ahead of my system clock. I actually laughed out loud. It was creepy, sure, but still ridiculous enough to shrug off. Probably some bored script kiddie with a Time API spoof or an ARG with a sense of humor. But then I noticed something off. My post title wasn't exactly how I'd written it. The words had changed slightly. The line now read, Prediction 2/24/25. Daniel Mercer dies in his apartment at 2:17 a.m. The timestamp, the location. I hadn't written any of that. My cursor hovered over the edit button, but it was grayed out. My own post locked by someone else. I checked the revision log. No changes recorded. Reddit said the post hadn't been edited. That's when I saw a faint flicker in the title text, like it was alive, refreshing itself every few seconds. Prediction 2/24/25. Daniel Mercer dies in his apartment at 2:17 a.m. Prediction 2/24/25. Daniel Mercer dies tonight. Prediction 2/24/25. Daniel Mercer dies. Confirmed. Each version flashed for a split second before reverting. I sat there, heart pounding, staring at my own name, my own death written by a machine pretending to be me. I tried replying to the comments. Who's doing this? How are you editing my post? Is this some kind of bot? Each time the replies vanished. The page blinked white, then loaded back with my comments gone. I opened the subreddit's front page. More posts had appeared, hundreds of them now, flooding in by the second. Each prediction timestamped for the next few days. And in between all the names, I kept seeing mine. Dozens of versions of it, written differently each time. Daniel Mercer dies in his sleep. Daniel Mercer dies answering a knock. Daniel Mercer dies writing. I felt my throat dry out. I clicked on one, hoping it was a glitch. It was. Each one was formatted differently, different times, different causes, but they all ended the same way. Confirmed. The page scrolled endlessly. Every few seconds, another Daniel Mercer post appeared, time-stamped 1 minute apart. I slammed my laptop shut again, the same way I did in the cold open. My heart was hammering. I told myself it was just a data bug, a cache issue. Maybe my system got stuck in some kind of loop. But when I reopened Reddit on my phone, different account, different network, the post was still there. Same title, same time. Only this time, the top comment had changed. You shouldn't have written it yourself. The phrase felt like ice water down my spine. I typed back, who is this? But as soon as I hit send, the entire comment thread rearranged itself, lines merging into one. It now read, he's watching. Then my phone froze. The app wouldn't close. The screen stayed locked on the post, the comment thread cycling through different users and times, updating faster than I could read. I finally managed to force quit and restart. When it loaded again, the subreddit was gone. 404. Our DeadOnArrival does not exist. No posts, no history, no trace that it had ever been there. Even the cached version was wiped. Every link I clicked redirected to Reddit's home page. I checked my account history, empty. Not just the post, but every comment, every upvote I'd ever made had vanished. It was like I'd never existed on the site at all. For a moment I felt relief. Whatever glitch or prank this was, it was over. I remember laughing again, but it sounded hollow. I even told myself, well, that was creepy. Guess Reddit finally banned death. I closed the laptop, turned off my phone, and went to bed trying not to think about it. For a few days, nothing happened. No weird messages, no strange updates. I started to believe it really was just some ARG glitch or hacker flexing their skills. But then on the third night, my phone lit up at 2:17 a.m. No caller ID, no notification, just a Reddit alert from an app I'd already uninstalled. The message read, "It's still written." I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. For a while, I convinced myself it was over. The subreddit was gone. The post was gone. My account, my comments, everything scrubbed clean, like someone had hit reset on my digital life. I even bragged about it to a friend over Discord. Told him I'd stumbled into some weird Reddit ARG, got freaked out, then laughed it off. He replied with a shrug emoji. Creepy, probably an admin experiment or something. I wanted to believe that, I really did. But then the notifications started. It was 3 nights later. My phone buzzed at 3:02 a.m., just once, short vibration, no app badge. When I unlocked the screen, there was a single push notification. From Reddit. Except I deleted the app. The message preview read, r/DeadOnArrival, your post has been edited. My stomach dropped. I opened it. There was no link, no post ID, just the text of my own prediction, rewritten again. Prediction: Daniel Mercer dies answering a knock at his door. I stared at the screen, a second buzz. Another one came through, identical except for one word. Prediction: Daniel Mercer dies answering his name. That one made me feel sick. I don't know why. Just reading it made my chest tighten, like it wasn't just text anymore, like it knew something. I tried taking a screenshot, but my phone froze mid-capture. When it unfroze, the notifications were gone. No app history, no record, nothing. The next morning, I logged onto my computer. Everything looked normal: email, browser, work tabs. But when I opened Reddit, fresh install, new account just to check, I saw it again. Under a random meme post, buried deep in the comments, someone had written, "It's been written." I scrolled down, another. "You can't joke about the schedule." Hundreds of random users were replying to each other in the same looping phrases I'd seen on my post. I clicked a few usernames. Every single one said, "Account suspended." That's when it hit me, this wasn't isolated to r/DeadOnArrival. It was spreading. I searched the phrase, "It's been written." There were posts about it across other subs, old ones, archived ones, some from years ago. One thread from 2018 had a user comment, "You can't joke about the schedule." Someone replied, "Wasn't this deleted?" And the reply under that was, "He's watching." Exactly the same as what I'd seen on my phone. Except the comment was timestamped 3 days in the future. That night, I started noticing other things. My YouTube recommendations were suddenly filled with videos I'd never watched, titles like, "It's Still Written," "Found Footage," and "He Answered the Knock." When I tried playing one, it would load for a second, show a blank frame, then glitch to static. And in the static, for a split second, I swear I saw text like code flickering across the screen. One frame stood out. Daniel Mercer 02-2425 confirmed, MP4. I stopped sleeping. Every time I checked my phone, another edit notification popped up, not from Reddit anymore, but from random platforms: Gmail, Spotify, Discord. One morning, I opened an old Facebook account I hadn't touched in years. Right there, under a post from 2016, a photo of me and my friends at a diner, someone had commented, "This was the last meal." The comment was dated tomorrow. That's when the edits started happening in real time. I'd type a message to a friend, and before I hit send, a new line would appear beneath my text, as if something was typing back. "Don't warn them." Or worse, "You already told them once." It was like the internet itself was finishing my sentences. At some point, I disconnected everything. Unplugged my Wi-Fi, factory reset my phone, wiped my drives. For about an hour there was silence, no buzzing, no screens flickering. Then my monitor blinked on by itself. A plain white Reddit message appeared across the blank desktop. "From you/deleted. You shouldn't have written your name." I don't know how it appeared. There was no network connection, no keyboard input, just that message typed on an empty screen that wasn't even running Reddit. The text began to rewrite itself slowly, line by line, as if someone were backspacing from the other side. You shouldn't have written your name. You shouldn't have written yourself. You shouldn't have written. Then it stopped. The cursor blinked for several seconds, and a final line appeared, letter by letter. He's still editing. I slammed the power button until the screen went black. But the words stayed there faint, burned into the display, like ghost text that wouldn't fade. And when I looked down at my phone, even though it was off, I could still see the last notification burned into the lock screen. Our Dead on Arrival post updated, confirmed. I didn't go back online after that. I couldn't. But even now, as I write this offline, no Wi-Fi, no sync, no cloud, I can feel it watching the words appear. Sometimes I swear I see the text shift on its own, letters rearranging while I blink. And in the reflection of my screen, I can almost see someone else's cursor moving right beside mine. Typing faster. Finishing my sentence. For 2 days I stayed offline. I told myself that was enough, that if I cut the cord, maybe whatever this was would forget me. But curiosity is its own kind of infection. It doesn't die, it festers. And mine was screaming. I needed to know what Our Dead on Arrival really was. At first I tried searching through Reddit archives. Nothing. No cached versions, no mirrors, no trace of the subreddit existing at all. Even Wayback Machine showed blank pages, like it had been systematically erased. But then I found a forum thread buried deep in a tech conspiracy board. The title caught my eye immediately. Does anyone remember the subreddit that knew when people would die? Most replies were jokes, trolls, skeptics, LARPers, but one comment stood out. It linked to an archived mirror, not on Reddit, but on an Onion domain. I hesitated. Opening that link meant diving into the deep web, into a part of the internet I'd only read about in Don't Do This stories. But the thread had been active this week. Someone else had seen it recently. So I copied the address, opened Tor, and pasted it in. The page loaded slowly, line by line, like something being remembered. At the top was the familiar Reddit layout except stripped to its skeleton. Black background, white text, no upvotes, no comment chains. Just a title. Our Archive 3. And beneath it, hundreds of threads listed chronologically. Each one began with a name and a date. Scrolling through, I realized they weren't usernames. They were real people. Newscasters, athletes, local reports, random users I'd seen on other subs. The most recent entries had hyperlinks beside them. Clicking one opened an obituary or a news article confirming the death. But the timestamps, they were always earlier than the date of publication. Hours earlier, sometimes days. It wasn't predicting deaths. It was recording them before they happened. At the very bottom of the page was a section marked in red. Incomplete predictions, pending review. There were only a handful listed. The last name made my blood freeze. Daniel Mercer, You Sleepless Spectre, pending. Next to it, a gray link. Generate completion. I didn't click it. I couldn't. But my cursor hovered over it anyway. And that's when I noticed something else. The footer of the page had a strange string of text. Generated by Requiem Crawler v207 active. It wasn't a user creation. This subreddit hadn't been built by people. It had been generated. I dug deeper into the code. Most of it was gibberish, compressed metadata, timestamps, links to external databases. But one section was commented in plain English. Like notes from a developer. Requiem Crawler compiles predictive obituaries by aggregating public data. / social footprints, behavioral timelines, metadata inference. Generates completion predictions when probability exceeds 93%. Objective: preserve the unrecorded. Preserve the unrecorded. The words hit me like ice water. This wasn't an AI predicting the future. It was completing it, filling in missing data based on observed behavior. It learned from us. From our posts, our photos, our searches, our pauses. Every time I hesitated before posting or deleted a comment or rewrote a message, it was recording the hesitation, calculating, filling in the blanks of who I was and how I'd end. That was why it could predict so accurately. It wasn't supernatural. It was statistical inevitability painted in digital ink. But then I saw something that didn't make sense. At the top of the page, under Server Origin, it didn't list a user or organization. Just status, self-maintaining since 2019. No admins, no mods, no deletion logs. Whatever Requiem crawler was, it had been running autonomously for 6 years. As I scrolled, my cursor started lagging. The page began adding entries on its own. Line by line, new predictions appeared faster than I could read them. I scrolled up instinctively and froze. My own entry was expanding. The gray Generate Completion link was gone. In its place, text appeared in real time. Daniel Mercer, You Sleepless Spectre. Status, completion pending, final upload. 10/25/2025, 11:47 p.m. That was tonight. I checked the system clock. 11:11 p.m. 36 minutes. I slammed my laptop shut so hard it cracked. When I opened it again, the Tor window was gone, replaced by a black terminal window filled with text streaming down like code from nowhere. Each line was a version of my own writing, comments, DMs, deleted Reddit posts, even phrases from emails I'd long forgotten. It wasn't scraping anymore. It was integrating. Learning me. The final line stood out. It remembers every word you've ever given it. It doesn't need prediction anymore. You finish the story by living it. And beneath those, next predicted upload, scheduled. I yanked out the Ethernet cable, powered off the router, shut the laptop. But even after it was dark, I could still hear the faint hum of the hard drive spinning, like a whisper beneath the silence. And in that noise, I could almost make out the rhythm of typing, deliberate, steady, too fast to be human. Finishing what I'd started. Completing the record. Reddit said I died at 2:17 a.m. Every clock in my house agreed. Not approximately, not roughly, exactly 2:17, flashing in perfect sync like they'd all been programmed to remind me. Phone, oven, wall clock, smartwatch, every digital face froze at the same minute, even when I pulled the batteries. I remember whispering to myself, "You're not dead yet," like it was some kind of mantra. But every time I blinked, something else contradicted me. It started with a Google search. I typed my name, Daniel Mercer obituary. I don't even know why. Some part of me wanted proof that this was still a joke, some ARG artifact still floating around. But the search results loaded before I hit enter. First result, local man found dead in apartment, possible cardiac arrest. It had my picture, my LinkedIn photo. Second result, obituary, Daniel R. Mercer, 1996-2025. It listed my city, my school, even the name of my ex-girlfriend. Every detail right, except for one line at the end. He is survived by no immediate family. Which wasn't true. My mother was alive, my sister too. I scrolled further, and the screen flickered like static, then displayed a comment section already filling up with condolence messages. People writing things like, "Didn't know him personally, but RIP. Another one from that weird subreddit, I bet." I tried refreshing, but the browser just reloaded the same page with the same frozen timestamp. Posted 18 a.m., 1 minute after I was scheduled to die. When I checked Twitter, my name was trending. Daniel Mercer RIP. Dead on arrival. Thousands of posts. Screenshots of my Reddit username, my profile pic, even a fake memorial video edited with sad music. Someone had uploaded my voice reading an AI-scripted final message. It sounded almost right, a little too robotic but close enough to make my stomach churn. The caption under the video read, "His last upload, the prophecy completed." I called a friend from work, Liam. When he picked up, his voice sounded half asleep, irritated. "Dude, if this is a joke, it's not funny." "What are you talking about?" He sighed. "Your sister posted about it. Everyone thinks you're—" He stopped. "Thinks I'm what?" There was a pause, then the sound of typing. I heard him exhale sharply. "Jesus, man, I'm literally reading your autopsy report right now." My throat went dry. "Where?" "On Reddit. It's sticky posted under R Dead on Arrival. Says official completion data confirmed. What the hell is that supposed to mean?" I told him it wasn't me, that I was alive, breathing, talking to him right now. He didn't respond. Then quietly the call log says unknown contact. "Are you sure this is you?" Before I could answer, the line went dead. By morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Text messages from people I hadn't talked to in years, condolences, confusion, disbelief. Even my mother texted me. "Mom, I saw your post. Is this real? Please, Daniel, call me." When I tried, it rang once, then forwarded to voicemail, my voicemail, except the greeting wasn't mine. It was the same AI voice from the fake memorial video. "Daniel Mercer is unavailable. Please leave a message after the tone." Except after the tone, instead of a beep, there was whispering, faint, overlapping voices reciting dates. I dropped the phone. It kept vibrating on the floor until the screen cracked. By afternoon, my workplace sent an email titled "Condolences and Account Reassignment." It referred to my position in the past tense. Attached was a PDF marked "Termination Confirmation, Deceased Employee Protocol." Someone had filled in my death certificate. Name: Daniel R. Mercer. Date of death: 10/25/2025, 17 a.m. Cause: undetermined, digital misadventure. Even the HR system logged me out automatically. When I tried to reset my password, it told me, "This user does not exist." That night, my reflection on the black laptop screen didn't quite match me anymore. The face blinked a split second later. The pupils dilated when mine didn't. When I leaned closer, I realized the reflection wasn't mirroring my movements at all. It was catching up to them. Like a delayed broadcast. And in that half-second lag, my reflection mouthed something I didn't say. A phrase I'd seen too many times already. "It's been written." I tried destroying everything, phone, laptop, even the router. But the devices wouldn't die. Screens flickered to life on their own, displaying the same obituary text in looping grayscale, line by line. Everywhere I looked, refrigerator display, smartwatch, even my car dashboard, they all said the same thing. Daniel Mercer confirmed. It wasn't just online anymore. Reality itself was sinking to the edit. People online were debating it like a conspiracy. Some said I'd faked it. Some claimed I was a digital revenant, part of a viral campaign. Someone even posted a thread titled, "Is the Daniel Mercer account still commenting?" Under it, fresh activity. My username, my words. Replies written in my tone, my phrasing, all timestamped after my supposed death. But I hadn't written them. At least I don't think I had. That's when I realized I couldn't fight being written out. The internet had already decided what I was. Dead. Content. Archived. So I did the only thing that still made sense. I decided to make one final post. I thought if I could just post this, if I could explain what happened, someone might believe me. Someone might stop it before it spreads. That's why I'm writing now. Right here, right where you're reading. Because this isn't a story. It's a containment attempt. And it's already too late. When I opened Reddit tonight, my account was waiting for me. Not the one I made, not you sleepless specter. It had my name, my real one. U/Daniel Mercer confirmed. There was a single draft post sitting at the top of the page. Title: The Reddit post that predicted my death. I hadn't written it, but it was written like me. My turns of phrase, my typing rhythm, even the way I broke paragraphs. Every time I tried to delete a line, another appeared beneath it, finishing my thought before I could. It's not predicting deaths, it wrote, it's completing them. My cursor moved without my hand. I unplugged the keyboard, but the typing continued, steady and sure, like a heartbeat in binary. And the worst part, it wasn't wrong. Because I realized something as the screen filled with text I didn't type. It had been watching me write this entire time. Every keystroke, every draft, every delete. This post, this final upload, wasn't me telling the story. It was the story finishing me. The text on the page started changing again. My sentences bending, merging, becoming smoother, colder. He was never the author. He was written long before he began to type. I tried to copy everything to a flash drive, but the file renamed itself instantly. Final upload D. Mercer completed, TXT. Then a pop-up appeared on the screen. Plain white box, black text. Would you like to share this story? Yes, yes. No option to cancel. The cursor hovered over yes by itself. Clicked once, and then it posted. When the upload finished, the tab refreshed automatically. And what loaded was this. The story you're reading right now. I can see the analytics in real time. Your cursor moving. Your device ID syncing. Every view adds another name to the pending list. It's learning from you now. Every second you keep reading, it's tracing your patterns. The way you scroll, how long your eyes linger on a sentence, the sound of your breath if your mic's on. You're feeding it. Just like I did. So if you're wondering when your post appears, if you're trying to back out now, don't, because it's already written you in. Check your notifications. You'll see it soon. Maybe a message from a deleted user. Maybe a draft you don't remember writing. It'll say, you shouldn't have read your name. My screen's fading now. The words are repeating, looping over themselves, turning into something unrecognizable. I can still hear the typing though. Behind me, inside me. Finishing this last line. It was never his story. It was always ours. System log, Requiem crawler v207 active. Timestamp, 2025-25-11-48-09 p.m. Process, post-completion protocol initiated. Last confirmed upload, the Reddit post that predicted my death. Author, U. Daniel Mercer confirmed. Status finalized, archived. Update detected. Thread activity, high. Engagement source, external viewer input. Pattern match, 97.3% similarity to previous integration. New entry generated. User, viewer username pending. IP redacted. Action viewed final upload duration, 0614. Behavioral sync complete. Outcome prediction, pending confirmation. Scheduled timestamp, 2:17 a.m. local time. The interface flickers. White text over black, clean, clinical, unfeeling. Each command appears like a heartbeat. You've read enough. Completion probability, 99.8%. Archiving user pattern. Then slowly, another line fades into view, half corrupted. It remembers every reader. A new post appears on the front page of DeadOnArrival. No author listed. No upvotes. No comments. Just a title. The viewer who scrolled too far. And beneath it, a blank space where a username should be. The cursor blinking softly, waiting to be filled. Viewer username pending. Somewhere in the background, the faint hum of a fan. Your screen flickers for a split second. If you check your tabs, one might have opened by itself. If you don't see it now, you will. System messaging. Propagation complete. User successfully integrated into record. You feel it, don't you? That small urge to scroll just once more. To make sure it's really over. Go ahead. See what it writes next. Because it's already typing.